the Madman. Welcome to another Voyage of the Sunken City card reveal review. And this is a really exciting one because we have not one, not two, but 5 colossal minions. And we're gonna throw them all right at the start. And they all seem very strong. So let's just get started with Gaia the Tectonic from Mage. 8 mana, 5/7 mech, colossal +2. After a friendly mech attacks, deal 1 damage to all enemies. It's become really apparent to me that they really wanted to push these colossal minions as powerful, so they like push the envelope over it, and they're like the legendary for each class. Like each one has just a big effect at the end to reward more late game play, a big power boost, something like that. But the point is, I don't think there's a single bad one. 8 mana, 5/7 comes with 2 2/3s with it, with Rush. And because they're both 2/3s, the way that this basically works is you can either stack 6 damage onto one thing and then deal 2 to everything else, or you can do 4 and 4 and then 2 to everything else as well. You know, it's kind of like 2 swipes. So for the price of 2 swipes, you're getting a free 5/7 with it. It's good. It's real good. You can see a variety of decks wanting to run this big, probably high-end cost card of the deck, and that evaluation will hold true for many of these colossi, including Krakatoa for Rogue. 6 mana, 6/5, colossal +2. Your Krakatoa claws have +2 attack. The Krakatoa claws are both the minions that come alongside Krakatoa, which have Rush and are 2/1s, which are 4/1 on the turn that you summon Krakatoa. The Death Rattle equips a 2/1 claw, but while Krakatoa is around, that's actually a 4/1 claw. So this, in effect, ends up being 3 sources of deal 4 damage. You have the double claws, and then you have your weapon claw, making this basically old Flame Strike, deal 4 damage to 3 things. You take face damage on one of the things, or you can like actually hit the face, and you get a 6/5 with that. So that's just good. Value Rogue, Control Rogue, Tempo Rogue, all rogues I think could use a Krakatoa. Remember to sacrifice one of your Krakatoa's claws and then attack with your claw before sacrificing the other Krakatoa's claws, so you can have another use of the claw. That one might not be a 4 attack because they could kill your Krakatoa, but you still get a 2/1 alongside that too. Gigafin for Warlock. 8 mana, 7/4 colossal +1. Battlecry, devour all enemy minions. Death Rattle, spit them back out. It's a Murloc. It comes with Gigafin's Maul, which is a 4/7 taunt. Death Rattle, permanently destroy all minions inside Gigafin. So it's a really good internal combo. 8 mana, 11/11 worth of stats. You immediately clear your opponent's board, so unless they have charge, they can't hit you for damage. Even if they manage to kill Gigafin immediately, you manage to stall out their entire board and get a 4/7 with it. It's 11/11 worth of stats for 8 mana, and Gigafin's Maul has taunt, so many decks might not actually be able to kill off Gigafin. And if they kill off Gigafin's Maul, well, that's really good. You got a one-sided Twisting Nether and a 7/4 and a 4/7. It's real good. You put this into mid-ranges, Warlocks, you put it in Control Warlocks. You might even consider making this the high end of Zoolock, just because the card is so good, I think. Priest Colossal is pretty cool. 8 mana, 8/10 Blackwater Behemoth, Lifesteal, and the Behemoth, like, oh, that looks kind of boring, but the card that comes alongside it is really cool. It's a Behemoth's Lure. It's a little antenna at the top of it, and it's cool that the Behemoth's antenna is an orca. That's awesome, right? Wait, no, it's just eating a orca. Oh, hold on, let me redo. The Behemoth comes with a Lure, which is really cool. 2 mana, 1/4. At the end of your turn, force a random enemy minion to attack the Blackwater Behemoth. So that's really strong. It's like it's an 8 mana, 8/10 with Rush and Lifesteal. 8 mana is just about the point where you really need some health, so getting the ability to immediately clear off an opponent's minion, as well as gain 8 health, that's big. And the total stats on these two together, it's a 9/14, and you're gaining 8 possibly gain more if your behemoth can attack again. Put this in the Quest Priest, Control Priest, great card. And then, did you think those Colossi were good? Well, whoa, Nelly! It's the warrior one! 7 mana, 5/5 Nelly the Great Thresher. Colossal +1, Battlecry, discover 3 pirates to crew Nelly's ship. So this 5/5 comes alongside a 2/6 with Taunt. Nelly's pirate ship, Taunt, Death Rattle, add Nelly's pirate crew to your hand, they cost 1. It's a 7/11 for 7 mana, and it draws you 3 cards, which you discover, and the cards cost 1 mana, the ones that you picked in the discovers. By the way, the discovers can't be the same card, so you can't pick 3 smites, but you can certainly get 1 smite and 2 other pirates, and then play the pirates together. They all cost 1. That seems really good. Put this into Control Warrior, put this into like any big warrior. Consider even putting this into Pirate Warrior because it might be that good, or maybe it's a slower Pirate Warrior deck where you like turn it into a Control Pirate Warrior. 7 mana, 7/11, draw 3? And the 3 cards cost 1? Who balanced this thing? Seeing these Colossi make me reevaluate Phelan right away. I had mentioned that Phelan was surely going to be a fail because all he did was put in cards that you would have put into your deck anyways. But now that I see how good they are and how, you would actually put most, I think, of these Colossi into their appropriate decks, I could legitimately see Phelan actually being good, because it seems like all of these Colossi cards are quite good, and they're all legendaries, which means there are a lot of good legendaries in this set. And now that we got that exciting start out of the way, we've still got some really exciting cards out here. We got Druid's Hedra the Heretic Naga, 7 mana, 4/5. A Battlecry, for each spell you've cast while holding this, summon a minion of that spell's cost. It's kind of awkward to have a card be dead in your hand while you're casting all the other spells. This one might not actually work that well. Plus, the big finisher that you tend to want for Druid seems to be a Nixia and Kazaku-san. Not entirely sure that the Hedra really fits into that plan. Another Druid card, got Miracle Growth. 7 mana, draw 3 cards, summon a plant with taunt and stats equal to your hand size. Drawing 3 cards, done with Nourish for 6 mana, but maybe it's worth only about 5. So you add 2 mana to that, and what do you get? You could get like an 8/8 taunt for 2 mana in addition to the 5 mana draw 3. It's really insane. This supports a big druid, a ramp druid, control druid of some sort. For +3 mana on Dark Alley Pact, you're drawing 4 cards because you basically cast your Dark Alley Pact for free as well. So it's like you're assuming you draw your Dark Alley Pact with your 3 mana Miracle Growth, and then you play the Dark Alley Pact on the same turn, and it has taunt. It's really good. And Druid doesn't only get the longer game plan, it also gets its usual token stuff. As Sharon Gardens, as Sharon is a new cycle, all the classes are going to get in a Sharon card, and this is the card type that's going to really reward dredging, and these Sharon cards are going to be what you want to dredge up. A Sharon Gardens gives, for 1 mana, for Druid, gives all minions in your hand +1/+1, and puts a Sunken Gardens on the bottom of your deck. Sunken Gardens is a 1 mana, give +1/+1 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. That's the 4 mana spell from Paladin. So that's a card you really want to dredge up. But we've only seen those dredge cards that are vanilla, so it's like, is that really worth the effort? Aquatic form! 0 mana dredge. If you have the mana to play the card this turn, draw it. Wow, that's really good. That is the best dredge card we've seen so far. Some people have compared this with 0 mana tracking. Now I am going to say that it is a little bit worse than tracking, because if your bottom 3 cards of your deck does not have a mana cost, like if it's not the proper mana cost and you whiff, it's really bad, because not only do you have to put one of those 3 cards on the top of your deck, which might be bad for you because you didn't have the mana cost to cast it anyways. Well, you also don't draw a card, so that's a big deal. But I figure with a good enough curve and the fact that you look at 3, As long as you're casting this on like 4 or 5, or maybe even 3, even if you're playing a late game control deck, you'll probably usually find something. That's really good there, but where Aquatic form really shines is with a small deck where you consistently have 1, 2, and 3 drops. So like even if you cast it on turn 2, you could probably find a really good card. If you turn 1 a Sharon Gardens and then turn 2 Aquatic form into the Sunken Gardens, that could be absolutely ludicrous. It's like a COLOSSALLY level start. Worth mentioning is since this card probably goes into the same deck as Vibrant Scroll, unfortunately, if Vibrant Scroll dies while Sunken Gardens is on the bottom of your deck, Sunken Gardens will get shuffled somewhere into your deck. That's both fortunate and unfortunate. It means you actually have a chance at drawing the Sunken Gardens from the top of your deck, even without dredging, if your Vibrant Scroll dies. But if you were planning to dredge it, you gotta time that dredge. Over in Demon Hunter, you see the Sharon card for them. A Sharon Defector, 4-mana 5/3, rush, death rattle, put a Sunken Defector on the bottom of your deck. And that Sunken card is pretty insane. It's a 4-mana 5/3 charge with after this attack to deal 5 damage to a random enemy minion. Strong payoff, but not strong enough, I think, to put in the Dredge package yet. So we're gonna have to see if there's other good stuff to put on the bottom, or if the Dredge cards are especially good. For Mage, you got Commander Savara, 4-mana 3/5 Naga, Battlecry. If you've cast 3 spells while holding this, add those spells back to your hand. Looks like a natural fit for the current deck of the Hero Power Mage. The dream is to cast 2 Wildfires and then cast Savara, well, cast another spell before, and then cast another 2 Wildfires, and your Hero Power deals 5. It's pretty OP. You could just have a value mage deck with spells and efficient minions and Nagas. It seems like that's the general direction for mage, with the Naga specifics for mage. You could also run this in big spells and get 3 really big spells back if you think your big spells originally weren't enough to kill your opponent. But that's probably gross overkill. Hunter's legendary Naga, Raj Nazjan, is a 2-mana 2/3. After you cast a spell, deal damage equal to its cost to the enemy hero. A natural fit into Quest Hunter. I think this card's a little bit overrated, but you would still probably just put this in the Face Hunter, Quest Hunter. Play it as a 2-mana 2/3, deal up to 8 damage if you cast 8 mana worth of spells after Raj Nazjan. Just a simple, facey legendary card. Paladin's getting the Garden's Grace, 10 mana, Holy Spell. Give a minion +5/+5 in Divine Shield. Costs 1 less for each mana you've spent on holy spells this game. They are doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the holy synergies of Paladin. So far, all cards Paladin has revealed seem to have something to do with this holy thing. The Garden's Grace is efficient if you cast it at 5 mana. +5/+5 in Divine Shield for 5. It's a good effect. So you just want to cast 5 mana worth of good holy spells. Worth mentioning is if you cast the Garden's Grace once, the second Garden's Grace will by definition be free. We're starting to see a good amount of holy spells. This is a good targeted holy spell. Question remains on if the base core set is going to have the holy support that'll reduce the Garden's Grace so that you can actually pull off all of these holy cards together. Rogue gets a cool little value card here. A Sharon Vessel, 5 mana, summon 2 3/3 pirates with stealth. Put a Sunken Vessel on the bottom of your deck. The payoff for dredging up the Sunken Vessel, that's a 0 mana for 2 more 3/3 pirates with stealth, and you get to redraw a card. If you play Smite on this turn, that's going to deal 12 damage to the face because your pirates with stealth will have charge. And that looks pretty strong. Gotta see what else Rogue has up his sleeve. But yeah, Sharon Vessel. It is 12/12 worth of stealth pirates, 4/5 mana. I definitely encourages you to dredge for that Sunken Vessel. For Shaman, you got Schooling. 1 mana, add 3 1/1 Piranha Swarmers to your hand to go along with the Piranha theme. Do I think Piranha Shaman is going to be a deck? No, I do not. So far, these Piranha have failed to impress me, but maybe if they print a 3rd Piranha deck for Shaman, maybe you're getting somewhere, but probably not. if they did print a third Piranha Shaman card, then that would be 3 cards that Shaman doesn't get to play with. That would be any good. It's just, the package isn't good enough. But hey, if you're a dreamer, Bioluminescence does go with those Piranha. 3 mana nature spell, give your minions spell damage +1. Cast a bunch of Piranha, Bioluminescence them, combo with spells. I don't really see a deck like this working out. If you wanted to just get more spell damage effects, Quest Shaman doubles your spells, so that's pretty good. We're gonna have to see if the reason that this combo-y Shaman tool exists, but seems really specific. You need to 1, summon a bunch of small minions, 2, play Bioluminescence, 3, also have a handful of burn spells that are cheap. It's really specific of a combo. You got the Coral Keeper for Shaman, 5 mana 3/4 Naga. Battlecry, summon a 3/3 elemental for each spell school you've cast this game. Now this one looks really exciting. Goes perfectly with Multicaster, and Naga go perfectly with wanting to cast spells. So it seems really clear that there's going to be at least a strong mid-rangey Shaman deck that runs Multicaster, Coral Keeper, a handful of Nagas, a handful of spells across various spell schools. Seems like a good deck. Priest is getting quite a collection of cards. Let's start with no longer maidenless. It's Handmaiden, a 3 mana 3/2 Naga. Battlecry, if you've cast 3 spells while holding this, draw 3 cards. Wow, 3 mana draw 3, and it comes with a 3/2. Only requirement is you've cast 3 spells. Good thing you have a Naga hat to potentially work with this. I think this could work with the Naga Zoo Priest deck, certainly, but it could also just be a strong addition to a Control Priest deck, and run it as a 3 mana 3/2 draw 3. Sure, it takes a while to set up, but Control Priest is there to stay around. Another tool for Control Priest, Whirlpool, a 9 mana nature spell. Destroy all minions and all copies of them, wherever they are. I had to do a double take on how this card worked. So first you destroy all the minions, and then you destroy all the copies of those minions in decks and hands. Could be your own deck if your opponent's minion died and you happen to have that minion in your deck as well. Has the potential to make your opponent discard, make your opponent fatigue faster, so your Controlled Priest could use this. It's 1 mana more than Twisting Nether. It's probably on the weaker side in terms of pure board clear that I've seen, but the extra utility of causing your opponent to potentially lose some cards from their hand and from their deck, that might warrant the Whirlpool. At the same time, it is really expensive for a board clear. Maybe it's just too expensive to run. And then you have a really unique legendary, Priestess Valish. 0 mana 1/1 Naga. Battlecry, refresh an empty mana crystal for each spell you've cast this turn. Potentially +4 or 3 mana. Of course, that's only on your big mana turns. It refreshes empty mana crystals, so you can't generate mana. Furthermore, with Palm Reading rotating out, you can't actually have 0 mana spells currently, but maybe you'll have a way to discount spells. Great for some sort of combo Priest, but I'm not entirely sure that the tools will be there for Priest at the beginning. But it's the type of card that you're going to want to keep your eye out for as more cards reveal themselves and as future expansions come up. Should be okay for this particular set, unless they missed something. And this card will probably be very wild in Wild. You got a meme card here for Warrior. The Fires of Zanashari, 2 mana fire. Replace your deck with minions that cost 5 or more. They cost 5. You could high roll and get a bunch of Colossi and have them cost 5. Or you could low roll and get like bad cards which cost 5 or 6 or 7 and they cost 5 instead. If you want to replace your deck, why not just play Kazaku-san? But hey, everyone's gotta have memes. Got a Trench Stalker for Warrior. It's a 9 mana 8/9 beast. Battlecry, attack 3 different random enemies. The face is a enemy, by the way. It seems like Control Warrior would have more efficient ways to clear off enemies, and the damage to the face isn't that important. So this would be for some sort of mid-range warrior which wanted Trench Stalker as a finisher to deal 8 damage to the face, while also sometimes using it to clear the board of smaller decks. Odd proposition of a card. Costs a lot for what it does. Not very good as a vanilla minion. I'm at a loss to what you would run this in. Trench Stalker seems sad, despite 3 smiley faces. Got another neutral Naga, 7 mana 5/9, battlecry. If you've cast 3 spells while holding this, deal 3 damage to all enemies. It's the Slithering Death Scale. That's a big Naga, but it's got the awkwardness of being 7 mana and then dealing such a small amount of AoE damage. It's really hard to justify like paying 7 mana to deal 3 damage to all enemies and then having a big guy. This tends to be in a control deck, but control decks don't necessarily need big guys. They'd rather deal these small amounts of damage to the swarm decks earlier on. It's one of those cards that when you look at the effect and you look at the stats, you know, seems like a solid, strong card, but don't really see much practical use for it. And then final neutral card is actually a pretty good one. Amalgam of the Deep, 2 mana 2/3. All tag, it's an amalgam. And battlecry, choose a friendly minion, discover a minion of the same minion type. Seems like it would be really good with Naga. Naga seem like they're going to be a pretty legitimate tribe. Looks like a strong set of Naga cards, like all throughout the set. But could also see this with mechs. That shark mage, mech shark, seems so strong. If you copied that mech shark, you would, of course, trigger the mech shark, but then you'd have another mech shark in your hand. It just seems like a really good card to fill out decks that are based around tribes. So there you have it, some really strong cards reviewed in this card reveal session. Starting to feel like this particular set is going to be a really strong kickoff to the new rotated season. And as many great cards are getting rotated out, it seems like the cards from Voyage to the Sunken City are ready to take their place and push things in a different direction. Full of treasure on the bottom of your deck, full of Naga wanting you to cast spells, and full of big colossal minions.